6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share it with your friends. All that good stuff does really help out. And of course, drop any recommendations, chart recommendations, timeframes you're looking at, pairs you're trading in the chat, and we can discuss and see what's going on. What's up, Precious? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Yes, everything looks like it is dropping quite violently this morning, especially the yen crosses looking like they're tanking. So again, is this a pullback? Is this time to be buying? Is this time to be holding off? I will be sharing my thoughts exactly on that pretty much as we begin with, because I think that's the big topic. What's up, D-Mart? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Raymond? Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you're well. So we will start with some of the yen pairs. Actually, let's start with the yen cross, because that will kind of show us what the yen is doing in reference to the major currencies. Now, of course, with the yen basket, we have been in this predominant downtrend, hence why I have been pretty bearish on the yen itself, looking to buy the yen pairs. And for the most part, that is still the case. This is currently the candle we have on the daily chart for the yen basket. This isn't really a significant candle to say to me that, okay, this trend is now over, let's start looking to buy. That one candle doesn't really change anything. Of course, we look a little bit more intraday. It's quite impulsive, it's quite intimidating, all that momentum. And it could mean for the next maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 days, we do see a bit more upside. But the context of things, everything is still pointing down. So my bias on the yen is still predominantly weakness on the yen, still looking to long the crosses. But I must admit, especially with this strength coming into the market, I don't want to be jumping straight in. I need to wait for real strength in rejection before I do jump into a trade. So if we take a look at pound yen, for example, this one, again, I'm still pretty bullish on, still looking for buying opportunities. But of course, with this move down, and especially with pound still being very weak as well, need to be careful before jumping into a buy, because despite the yen pairs pushing up, pound's probably not the best currency to be trading alongside it, because of course pound is pretty much falling against every other currency as well. We'll quickly scan through the pound crosses to show that point, but pound right now is really weak as well. But I did say at the start of the week that I'm looking to buy on the dip of this low. So I'm going to see what happens as pound progresses. I do want to see pound start to gain some strength a little bit. The yen pairs is still in one direction, so I already know what I'm doing with the yen pairs. But of course, very violent shift in momentum, really aggressive move down. So basically what I'm looking for is rejection here. I want to see wicks, I want to see bullish momentum coming back in, a strong bullish close. Then I will see how other pound pairs are looking. And if things do look good, I will take the trade. So to answer your question, I'm still looking at this as a pullback. Until we do violate significant structure, I will still view this as a pullback. In terms of pound yen's case, again, the trend is still very much pointing up. It's just that we have been very stagnant over the past 2-3 weeks now. We haven't really progressed anywhere, but that lack of progression doesn't necessarily mean that price is coming down. I want to see price primarily take out this low to really tell me that, okay, the trend has changed. If we do break aggressively through this, I would back away. I wouldn't turn bearish, but I would definitely back away. So this low here, price is trading at, is very, very significant to me. Yes, we have just about closed underneath, but the market isn't perfect. If we do recover this well, I'll still look at this as price respecting that low or slight fake out for us to then push higher. So pound yen's case, still looking at longs. Dollar yen's case, I'm still looking at longs as well. I'm still very bullish on the USD itself, so I'm still looking at potentially a strong currency against a weak one, strong one being USD, the weak one being yen. I still like this zone here a lot. Nice pause in the market, pullback. We got the continuation last week, giving us some new highs past this point here as well. I am looking for the break and retest of this zone for a continuation back to highs at the very least, but I do think we can go further as well. So I'm very much looking at this downside move on the yen pairs as an opportunity. And again, in terms of just trading opportunities, I needed this pullback anyway, because let's say if the yen pairs were very bullish, then I just wouldn't find any entries for a pullback. I need some downside if I'm going to find some longs at good prices to take advantage of the trend. So with the dollar yen pushing down as well, coming back into this zone, this is exactly where I want to be looking to buy as well. So again, I'm going to study to see how price does react with this zone. If I'm seeing wicks, if I'm seeing rejection, I'm seeing strong bullish candle closures, I'm looking to get in on the retest around the 153 area. So as price does dip here, this is now time to buy, in my opinion, for dollar yen. Of course, we're not buying here with certainty that these trades are guaranteed to work out. We're just playing the probability game here. Momentum is so far quite continuous. The yen is still pretty weak. The dollar is still pretty strong. We have a really clear breakout retest pattern at play here. As long as we can hold this zone, there's a good chance we do at least continue back to highs. We may roll back over, but we can manage our trade. To be honest, so it doesn't really matter. We'll probably still walk away for at least a small win, at the very least a break even. And if price does rip through the highs here, you could be onto a pretty big winner. So dollar yen, I'm still liking the buys. GJ, I'm still liking the buys. Some yen pairs which I don't like. New Zealand yen, I think NZD is very, very weak right now just as a currency. So this is looking exceptionally bearish on the day. But then in all honesty, did I want to buy New Zealand yen coming into the week? No, this is a market that is just ranging. Equal highs, equal lows. I did say yesterday on stream that I would consider buying New Zealand yen if we can see a clear-cut breakout of this range. Because if that was to happen, there could be a lot of opportunity to the upside. But of course, in this case, we haven't got that. And now with NZD looking pretty weak right now, that is a pretty big drop. I cannot argue against that. It's a pretty big drop, so I don't think buys look good here on New Zealand yen. So it's going to be interesting to see how the yen pairs folds. And again, with the yen crosses as a whole, you're not going to get a situation where every single yen pair just looks clean to the upside. You will get that sometimes, and that's when one currency is just so weak. But most of the time, you get, let's say if you've got 8 major yen crosses, probably out of the 8, maybe 5 of them will be trending quite well, 2 of them weakly trending, maybe 1 of them just looking absolutely horrendous. That's kind of the case here we got with the yen pairs. Probably 4 or 5 of them are still trading pretty well. Let's say, for example, if you go to Swiss yen, that's still trending predominantly very well as well. I know we're bearish on the day, and we're taking out some of those lows, but again, predominantly the trend is still very much up, still looking to buy opportunities here. Same thing with euro yen as well, still pointing to the upside, still a very clean trend. So, this candle here, I know it's bearish, but it's not going to change the significance of that trend. We need to see a lot more downside, start to take out lows, and that will make me reconsider. So, yeah, we're still seeing clean up trends for euro yen, Swiss yen, dollar yen still pushing up. Pound yen has been stagnant, but for the most part, that's pushing up. CAD yen has been on the choppy side of things, but from last week, we did see a nice move there as well. We're coming to a very significant area right now, so we do need to maintain this level here for CAD yen. I'm more focused on dollar yen. I think that's the better opportunity, especially with my bias on dollar CAD being bullish for dollar CAD too. So on paper, dollar yen should be the better buy. But we are coming to an interesting area here with 50% of this zone here. So looking for the bounce pretty much around now. So again, looking for momentum to pick up and basically a higher low to form. We've got clear bullish structure on the 4-hour chart. There's your low, there's your high, there's your low, there's your high. Now you're looking for the new higher low to form for continuation. So it's a situation where, okay, the yen pairs are falling. They're coming into some key areas for buys. Now it's up to price action to tell us, okay, entries are good, let's take the trade. Because of course, price could break through these zones. it's up to price to show us those wicks, rejection, momentum coming back in from a bullish standpoint to support the trade idea. There's one thing price getting to a level, there's a second thing price rejecting a level. So let's see if we can get those rejections in. But Aussie yen, that one kind of failed at high, so I'm not really keen to be buying Aussie yen either. This is another one of the yen pairs which I'm not really interested in. It's just slightly made a higher high, but only slight, effectively rejecting resistance as well. So I'm not really seeing a clear-cut buy there too. So I've got the yen pairs I want to focus on, pound, dollar yen, those two especially, and I'll keep an eye on Swiss and euro. But yeah, yen pairs I'm still looking to attack higher. And of course that could change by the end of the week. Maybe this selling pressure just continues for whatever reason throughout the week, break some key structure. I will look to rethink my bias as well. Raymond, I was in good profit. It's all gone. What the hell is going on? Yeah, welcome to the markets, my friend. Things can change quickly. Things can change very, very quickly. I would suggest just, again, because every trade's fickle, you know, in another day, the news could have, you know, pushed in your favor. So that's just where the management comes into play and how you want to manage your positions. Some people like being hands-off completely. Some people like being a little bit more hands-on. I'm a mixture of both. I do want my trades to kind of play out and let the market do the heavy lifting, but I also do want to have some mechanisms to support, especially trades that do go in my favor, especially a decent way. I don't want them to become losing positions. At the very least, break evens. So yeah, I'll look into some type of management techniques. It could just be a case where it just was unfortunate, and you know, that's trading at the end of the day. But if you were in like really good profit, then yeah, you shouldn't really be letting that turn into a loss. At the worst case scenario, break even. Mercy, what's up? Yeah, on the 26th of November. Again, that's still quite far away, so I'm not too worried about that, to be honest, because a lot of movement's going to happen between now and the 26th of November. So something to keep an eye on, definitely as we get closer to the event. But for now, I'm very kind of just focused on the here and now. Young learner, what's up? Yes, we can take a look at dollar CAD for you. I'll go through a bunch of the USD pairs to start with, actually. I just wanted to touch on the yen because, of course, they're looking exceptionally bearish, and I've been very, very bullish in the yen pairs. And I still am, so I will be keeping an eye on them throughout the stream. But yeah, we'll shift our attention to some USD crosses now. Dollar CAD, pound USD as well. Precious, NASDAQ, yes, we'll take a look at that one too. The gap is at my entry point. Okay. Well, if it fits your criteria, go for it. Bashi, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing good. Thank you for the message. Appreciate it, my man. If you guys are enjoying the content, drop a like, subscribe, does really help out. And of course, share it with your friends and drop any charts even in the chat, and we can discuss and see what's going on. Precious long in Euro CHF playing out. Nice, congrats. We'll take a look at Euro Swiss. Haven't been a fan of the CHF pairs, to be honest, but we shall take a look. Yeah, GJ, massive drop. I know. Pound's really weak as well, so that's kind of accelerated it. But yeah, we'll start with the dollar pairs. So in terms of the DXY, so yeah, looking really bullish. I'm quite bullish for the dollar, but it's just we'll come into an awkward area where I have to be careful with these longs. So, you know, what we're seeing here is higher highs and higher lows. Just look at the structure in the daily chart. Quite clear to see here. So I'm looking at more of this, but of course, this is an area where a pullback could be on the card too. And to be honest, I want one to be, because I'm not looking to buy the DXY up here. I want us to kind of pull that down. I really like this zone just below us. That'll be a really nice place for a break and retest, and for some longs, especially in euro as well. So I'm looking for some opportunities that look like this for you, for the DXY. We are approaching resistance. Maybe we reject it, maybe we break through. We'll find out. I'm not interested in selling it. I'm only interested in buying the dollar right now. So I like this zone here. Let me just mark that a bit clearer so you guys can see. So I like this zone here. this consolidation, which of course gave us the breakout just after the Fed interest rate. So this is where we had all the uncertainty going into the news. Fed interest rate came into play, lovely push to the upside. Now it would be nice to see a retest of that same zone for a continuation. Maybe I'm asking for a bit too much of a pullback, but on paper that's really where I like to try and place my entries. I think intraday you might find some pullbacks on the way. I did talk about a retest of this zone yesterday. Did provide somewhat of a buy, but I did say keep it short and simple from that retest because the market's quite extended. We're coming into major resistance on the daily chart. You know, you're not buying here with the anticipation for a big swing. Maybe one does happen, but you want to be looking to play the short-term game and maybe leave positions to run if it does continue. If you're looking for a big swing on the dollar, you want to see at least a big swing against it to then follow through. So that's really where my focus is. Bullish dollar, yeah, join the club on bullish dollar as well. Looking for a small pull. Okay, so you're looking a bit more intraday for pullbacks. Yeah, I think that's a good smart play as well, riding the current momentum. Like I said, we talked about that zone there, which price has come back to retest again this morning. You could even look for the retest of the high here for some continuations. But yeah, we are looking pretty bullish this morning. Nice little tap back into that zone. Strong push. I mean, already back at highs already, so I'll be needing price to break through that ceiling again, but for the most part, still looking pretty bullish here. Okay, Bashi, shorts in GU makes sense, but EU is freaking me out. There was an entry to hop in. Once I'm taking it. Fair enough. I mean, GJ short's not a bad idea, to be honest, man. Especially because you're intraday. So, again, you're trading the here and now, and GJ right now is looking very weak. So, if you're only looking for a little bit more downside, I do think it's a smart bet. Same with GU as well. Of course, correlation is definitely something to keep a close eye on, especially like GU and EU. But yeah, in terms of the play, I think it does make sense. So in terms of Euro USD, so this one, again, the analysis is pretty much the exact same as the DXY, looking for a bit of a pullback and a correction before we do continue. Looking at the daily chart, I talked about this as our next big target. Yeah, basically this demand zone here, that's our next big target, that low. We're still quite far away, so there's still a bit more downside to expect here for Euro, but again, do I really want to be selling at these prices? No, not really. And again, I'm talking primarily from a swing perspective. If you're short term, yeah, you can definitely still find some sells here. You know, you're only looking for the downside for the session or maybe for the day, so it makes sense. But if you are looking for like a swing all the way down here, you kind of want price to be pushing up first before you do warrant that move. You want to see a healthy pullback. And as a result, I am looking at a retest of this zone here. I like the way price paused. We saw momentum for the Fed. It would be nice to see the pullback and a retest of that zone. The question is, will we have enough juice to see that happen? I'm not too sure. We are looking quite fatigued right now for Euro, I must add. You know, this looks really corrective here. So I would suggest the pullback is likely at some point. It's just, is going to be a big enough pullback to test that zone? I'm not too sure. But yeah, Euro is pointing to the downside, so extremely bearish on this one. 1.158, 1.16 are the areas I'm looking at. And from there, I'm looking at a lot more downside for Euro. Okay, long-term bullish, of course. Yeah, fair enough. Same here as well. Pavinator, my man, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Happy Tuesday, right back at ya. Going good. Still looking for some entries. I've got a couple markets which I'm interested in. Especially along the GJ side of things. So I'm looking to buy pound yen, looking to buy dollar yen right now. Well, dollar yen I need a bit more downside, but pound yen is in an interesting area, so I'm waiting to see how it does react. Aussie dollar going bearish, yeah, is looking bearish. Aussie's been really choppy. It's been a difficult one to suss out, but again, because I'm so bullish on USD, the only thing I would do with Aussie would be to short it. It's just not my favorite USD pair, but we can take a look. Okay, you've entered the short, nice. We'll go take a look at that as well. Philip, what's up, my man? I hope you're doing good. Getting burned at JPY this afternoon. I'm in a buy position, also stopping me out. But as part of the game, you win some, lose some. Of course, my man. That's trading for you. Trading's all about the process. You don't want to worry about the individual trades too much. I like to think about it in terms of, you know, the individual trades you take make a story, and you're focused on telling that story, because that story is the profitability of your edge. You know, your equity curve pointing up. If you focus too much about the subplots, you'll forget about the big plot as well. So try and think of your trades as like a batch of 10 or a batch of 20. So, you know, you only kind of really review your trades after you've taken at least 10 or 20 trades. And even then, it's not to make any major changes, just to make sure that you're following your rules. Because, you know, even after 10 trades is a pretty small sample size. But yeah, trades come and go, my man. Trades come and go. As long as you're doing the right things, that's really the only thing you can focus on. But yeah, it is a bit of a bloodbath out there, cannot lie. Okay, so let's take a look at pound USD, and then I'll take a look at dollar CAD and Aussie dollar as well. So pound USD, I am extremely bearish on as well. I mean, pound's probably one of the weakest currencies, if not maybe the weakest currency at the moment. So pound is just been falling out the sky. It's breaking through some key levels here to our left as well, so really showing its intent. And the plan is to keep selling the pound. Again, if you're intraday, I do think there's opportunities there. Just looking for those smaller pullbacks and playing the continuation. I talked about some shorts yesterday on the 15. Where was I talking about? Yeah, I was talking some shorts against the high here. I mean, to be honest, I was looking for price to test the high and then drop. So I was looking at this area here. As we started to create some structure, I wasn't so paying attention to that move. But the level did essentially held, and we have seen some really nice follow through. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here for pound USD, real conviction there. The only thing now is, if you're not already in a short for pound USD, I do think the ship has kind of sailed. I mean, I'm on an intraday chart right now on the 15. Unless you're even more intraday than this, I probably would wait for a bit of a pullback for pound. I'll keep an eye on that low there, this low here, and even the low of that range. Those are some areas I keep an eye on. And again, even for a retest of those zones, we are quite far away. So yeah, pound USD, really, really bearish, expecting more downside here. From a 4-hour standpoint, I said I was looking for a retest of this zone, and I still am. I mean, I'm looking for the retest of this whole last bearish leg, because that was our last lower high, and of course we've broken through. So it would be nice to get the retest of that zone, anywhere within that, to be honest. But yeah, as pound USD accelerates, the probability of us getting that bigger pullback probably does decrease a little bit. But you never know, things can change pretty quickly. So again, keep it an eye, but of course, no need to be fixated because we are still quite far away. If you are looking to trade pound USD weakness, there's some smaller areas here to keep an eye out for some retests. But in terms of direction, only looking to short, really, only looking to short. No need to overcomplicate it. And in terms of dollar CAD, so I have been pretty bullish on this one too. Again, another USD pair, just favoring that USD strength. We are approaching resistance now, so is it the time to be buying dollar CAD? I don't think so. Even on an intraday bias, we are starting to look a little bit tired. Yes, there still might be a bit more juice to the upside, but is it worth the squeeze? I mean, it's not a bad place, actually. I like this low here, actually, because we've had this low, we came back to test this zone here. We haven't quite seen new highs past this point. So although the market's looking a little bit tired here, if we have one more sell-off into this zone, I think that's actually a nice place to take a buy, because you're basically trading a range here. You're the equal highs, equal lows, so you're positioning down here. But also, you've got kind of this trend, so you've got the wind in your sails. So you're taking advantage of the extreme of the range, plus added the benefit of the trend. So I think in terms of location, it's actually a pretty smart place for a buy. I just wouldn't be looking for like a complete home run with this trade. I think if you were to get it back to highs, that's a solid trade in itself. A breakout there, fantastic, but I wouldn't bank on that happening. In fact, I would say a push to the 50% of the range would be a good point to bank a decent chunk of the profits, really, because I wouldn't be too surprised if you start to mess around or even roll over here. But a push from here to the 50%, that's a higher probability move. To the opposite side of the range, a little bit less probability, and a breakout even less. But not bad itself. So on the intraday time frames, yeah, I can work something out there for dollar CAD, which I actually quite like. From a swing perspective, there's nothing here. We're coming back into resistance. I need price to go and break through this now. So not much to really discuss from a swing perspective. But 15, yeah, you can definitely work something out there. So in terms of Aussie dollar, looking really bearish this morning. Congrats, Pavanator, you're looking pretty good, I have to say. You said the UTP is where? 0.64730. 64730, not too far away now. And you got an entry 65143. 65143. That's around there somewhere. So you probably peaked around maybe close to 50% of your to your target there. So yeah, I mean, momentum's looking really good. You got the USD strength in your favor as well. I would suggest be wary because, of course, if I expand and look at the bigger picture, it is a very choppy market. So I did say yesterday, I'm not really keen to trade Aussie dollar in these prices unless I can get a push to the higher end or the lower end of the range, because at least at that point, you know, I'm at the extremes. I'm shorting from the highs and buying from the lows. So I'm not really so keen about trading inside the middle here. But I do like your trade because you're keeping targets pretty modest. You're not looking for the home run. You know, you're shorting, taking advantage of that momentum, and then looking to get out, you know, pretty early on as well. So I would suggest smart place for take profit. Just keep in mind, we could always come back for a retest. In fact, because things are quite choppy here, we're a bit more prone to break and retest, and a bit more chaotic price action, deeper pullbacks as well. So if price was to pull back, let's say retest this zone, I wouldn't start to panic. I think as long as price can stay below that, you're still looking pretty good. But yeah, I wouldn't expect a clean move in these conditions. But yeah, your target not too far away. I do think Aussie dollar long term is headed back to support here. Of course, how we get there, that's a different kettle of fish, because we could really mess around. But as long as dollar stays strong, you should be looking good. You should be looking good for that trade. It's just I'm not a big fan of the conditions, so I'm staying away from Aussie for now. New Zealand dollar has been trending fairly well, and it's picked up recently as well. I did say if I get a short for this one, it's because price was going to push back to the high here, but unfortunately, the market is looking way too bearish for that. So no opportunity there for me for New Zealand dollar. I did talk about some intraday pullbacks on the 15. Did we get it? Where were we yesterday? Yeah, we were trading around here, and I said a break and retest of this zone. Just missed it, to be honest, so that would be unfortunate. What time was that? That was 5:15, so kind of late into the New York session, so probably not the best time to be going intraday, but it would have been a nice break and retest of that zone. But yeah, since then the market has fallen pretty well, taking out that low, so there's not much to do now. Again, if you're really bearish from this one, there probably might be a little bit more juice to squeeze, but I'll keep it short and sweet, because now that we've taken this low, the odds of a bigger pullback are a lot higher now, which is why the shorts here I was favoring a lot more, because we had that intent to go and take out that low. Now that we've done that, not that we can't go further, we absolutely can, it's just probability not as high. So again, I'll keep it pretty simple. I'll either look for the retest of the low here or pull back into the supply zone. What I don't want to see in the 15 is this high get taken out. If that high does go, that's a bit of a red flag to say, maybe structure technically be breaking there, but so maybe the bigger pullback might be happening now. So we don't want to see that happen, but I would prefer the retest of the supply zone, just because the breakout here isn't as big enough as I would like it to be for break and retest. I like my breakouts to be pretty big. Typically, the bigger the better. That's normally a more trustworthy breakout. If it's not as big as I want it to be, I would look for a deeper pullback, and more so to like a supply zone or a demand zone. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with New Zealand dollar. In terms of gold and silver, so not much development, to be honest, with either of them. Gold kind of just flat. I did say if price can run the highs here, I do think that could be a sensible place for a short. We do have this momentum at play. Haven't really seen any strong bullish behavior yet. So I did say if price was to sweep the high here, then recover it, I think that's a really smart place to position yourself short, put some stops above the high, and see if you can take advantage of a swing back to the low. I think that's a very sensible trade. You can probably lock in some gains at this kind of counter trend line here. And if price was to bounce there, you'd be protected. If it does break through, then yeah, you'd be very much looking for a push to that low. But this is a good place for an entry. Again, you are against the bigger trend here. So despite, yes, we have some bearish structure, let's not get too carried away. You know, if you put things into context, you know, this is the market you're shorting right now. So there is some sense in the shorts, but you have to be aware of what the climate is, and the climate is still very, very, very bullish. It's just that recently we've seen some bearish structure come into play. We're looking to see if we can take advantage of that. Maybe the market does keep falling, who knows, but the probability is that sooner or later we'll at least see some strength come back in. Whether we'll get back to highs or not, that's a different question, but you just have to be a bit wary of that with targets. And if momentum does step in, be prepared to exit early. But yeah, gold, still looking at a sweep of the high, then a recovery for a short. Silver, pretty much the same outlook as well. I would say the shorts do look a little bit clean on gold. I mean, silver's already made a bit of a move down, but I was talking about a sweep of the high there for silver yesterday, and then the move down. Unfortunately, not to happen. So yeah, would I be jumping into some shorts now for silver? No, I think the move is kind of already in play. I would want to be shorting nearer to the high. Would I be looking to buy? I understand that we have come back into some areas of demand. You know, price could respect this prior low, this price swing low, and perhaps we could swing back up again. But the more immediate structure, or at least in the 4-hour chart, is still pointing down. You know, we've got this big push, pullback, big push. You know, I'm still against that. I would want price to break the high and then look for pullbacks, which is why I said yesterday, if silver can break the high here, then I'll quickly switch my bias to bullish, and likewise with gold as well. So because that is not the case yet, I won't be looking to buy. Not that this can't play out, it's just it wouldn't really fit my criteria. So yeah, going forward with silver, not much of an opportunity. I'm looking to see what we do next, whether we take out the high here or take out this low. That will help paint the picture for the next big swing. If we do this, I'm going to be very bullish. If we do this, I'm going to be very bearish. I'm looking for the next swing after that as well. So all in all with USD, I'm still very strong. That's the bias for now. Nothing's changed. Of course, we have continued in the direction. So again, if you're looking for the deeper pullbacks, have to stay patient. But there is one USD pair which is not far from entries, and that would be dollar yen, because of course we've got a bit of yen strength coming to the market. But I did say at the start of the week, this is the zone I want to buy from. We're only a few pips away from there. Let's see if we can get a retest sooner or later this week, and I will be happy to see if I can take advantage of dollar strength against the yen. So yeah, I think that's a good partnership for now. Very weak currency, of course. It has gained some strength today, but predominantly pretty weak. I do think it's a smart play, but we'll see if we can actually find some entries. Okay, you're in GU and EU sells right now. Don't want a retracement. Yeah, if you're shorting, then of course you wouldn't want a retracement. It's only if you're not short you want a retracement. What are your targets for the GU and EU trade? How far are you looking to take them? Okay, fair enough, Pavinator. Are you just going to trail stops, or how are you looking to manage the position? Yes, we can take a look at Euro Aussie as well, no problem. Aussie CAD as well, we'll take a look at, no problem. Hopefully, yeah, I'm looking at USD getting stronger as well. That's very much my bias too. Bashi DXY wants the 100.250. I think after that, short the XY again. Gold could find an easier push to the upside. Yeah, it would do. If USD can weaken a little bit, that will help. Precious Nasdaq, I completely forgot about that. We'll take a look at Nasdaq, no problem. I'll go for that one first. Okay, trading stops. Yeah, fair enough. I think with USD, because we're not completely out of the woods with the whole reversal, but the past few weeks have been pretty bullish, and since the Fed has stepped in, we've seen that added strength. I do think that bullish momentum can continue. Of course, there will be downside, there will be retracement opportunities, but from a swing perspective, I'm still seeing higher highs and higher lows on the dollar, so that sets my bias as bullish. So pretty much any USD pair I'm looking to buy, as long as it makes sense, of course. So yeah, we'll start with the Nasdaq, and then I'll take a look at Euro Aussie, Aussie CAD. If I have missed out any other pairs someone's requested, I think Euro CHF was requested, I'll take a look at as well. So yeah, just drop it down in the chat. Sometimes it will slip my mind. But yeah, as for Nasdaq, this one has been pretty bearish, to be honest, to start the day off. We do have that gap below. Okay, yeah, I remember Precious, you mentioned about the gap, didn't you? G Child, yep, your NSD we'll take a look at as well. Yoshi, my man, good morning, hope you're doing good. Okay, no worries, Bashi. So yeah, with the Nasdaq, I said there's two areas to keep an eye on. Number one is the gap for that to fill, and number two is this zone here. Nice push, pause, really aggressive breakout. A retest of that would be a brilliant place to look for entries. And either price is going to respect 1, 2, or if it does break through them, then that's when I'll be a little bit more cautious with buying with the Nasdaq. We might go for a bigger retracement, or maybe we look to break structure and have a bigger counter trend form. But for now, everything is still very bullish. I know we're down on the day, we're down on the week as well, but this doesn't change the tone of the market. It just means, you know, we're in that kind of retracement period. So going to see what we can do at this gap here. Again, I don't want to be the first one into the market either. I want price to kind of settle a little bit, maybe consolidate, and then give me momentum. I like those type of entries. I don't like just catching off the bounce, especially after a strong drop. But even intraday is still a little bit early to be talking about longs. So in terms of location, I think we're in a great place for the buy. It's just, I wouldn't trust the entries just yet. And of course, if this zone doesn't do its job, then you got this 25-200 level to keep an eye on, which, yeah, if we can hold, there could actually be some nice swings there. So, I quite like what I'm seeing here with Nasdaq. Very, very bullish still. First attempt, if you will, second attempt. And if you break both of those zones, okay, maybe the Nasdaq is heading a lot lower. In terms of which pair, Euro Aussie, and then we'll take a look at Aussie CAD. Appreciate it, Bashi. And Euro NZD and oil as well. No worries. So yeah, in terms of Euro Aussie, I've been talking about buys at this low for probably the past week or so. Reason being, it's a critical low and price is range bound, and it has been for a while. So because of that, you want to be buying at the low of the range, selling at the high, keeping it very, very simple. And as prices spiked the low this week, I think that was Monday's candle. Yeah, Monday's candle spiked the low, and we have seen some relief. Now, I wouldn't be looking for like a long-term swing here, just because I'm not that trustworthy in this pushing up higher. Because if you look at a similar pair to Euro Aussie, like Pound Aussie, for example, this has been extremely bearish. So you got kind of a lack of synchronicity between these two similar markets. Pound Aussie trending down, Euro Aussie flat. So, you know, the better opportunities is when, okay, Euro Aussie's pushing up, Pound Aussie's pushing up too. You can be pretty confident with the buys and vice versa. If you do have a lack of synchronicity, that's a bit of a red flag. Probably not one to say, okay, I'm not going to trade it, but definitely something to say, okay, maybe I'm not going to push this as far as I normally do. So with Euro Aussie bouncing off the low, I think that's a great place for a buy. If you're in the trade, great. If you're not, you kind of want price to revisit that zone. I think entering here is a little bit late to the party. And then I'll keep an eye on the 50% of the range. So I'll get a fib from the high to the low. And then I will highlight the 50 and then just draw a zone around that, just to make it a bit more thicker rather than just one finite line. Wait, that's 0.618. It would be nice if I could draw it on the 50. There we go. So yeah, that's the 50% zone. I would say that looks like a good target to me. 50% of the range is always a trustworthy target. Very, very high likely. If you look at the previous swing here from the low, or one of the previous swings, really nice bounce, got to the 50, came back down, you know. And of course, in the next attempt, we reacted at the 50 again, but we luckily enough saw that move. So I would say keep an eye on the 50. That's always a smart place to at least manage the trade in some way. You don't have to exit everything. You can do if you want, but that's your more realistic target, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, if you're in Euro Aussie longs, great. If you're not, effectively you want price to come back and retest the lows again, so you can get some stops underneath the low, entries in this area, and then that will be your profit. Now it's a little bit late to the party. And in terms of Aussie CAD, your CHF, will it still go higher because my target? Okay, we'll take a look at Euro Swiss after Aussie CAD. So in terms of Aussie CAD, so I was actually keeping an eye on this one this week. I quite like the shorts at the high. It's a very range bound market in recent weeks. So yeah, looking to short high, buy low is always going to be my goal in this instance. So I was looking to see if price can push into the previous week's high, retest that resistance there, and look for some shorts here. That was the plan I had for Aussie CAD, but of course we started off really weak here, and I don't see price coming back to test that resistance level there, so I think I might have missed the boat there. But yeah, I think right now for Aussie CAD we're in the max win place for uncertainty, which is 50% of the range. I understand there's resistance here, a bit of support as well, so there is some logic here, but you're just trading in the most noisy areas, so I would refrain from doing anything with Aussie CAD until we at least push back to highs or at least push back to lows. That's where you can get a bit more conviction with your trades, because again, you have to be wary of where you're placing your entries and what advantage you have in the market. If you're placing your entries here, you don't really have much advantage over the market at all. If you're placing entries here, you do have some advantage because price is at extreme. There's clear evidence that we're failing at these highs. Of course, doesn't mean we'll fail forever, but there's clear evidence that we're failing at these highs, and clearly buyers don't have enough energy to break the high, and sellers are holding their ground. So naturally shorting at these highs here, or placing entries inside that area, or looking for patterns in that area, puts you in a much better place. Here is a bit more uncertain, a bit more chaotic price action, so your entries don't really serve much purpose in here. Again, I'm not saying you can't find a winning trade, it's just not the best conditions for it. So Aussie CAD, I would stay away. Unless we can get to either of those highs or lows. Yeah, besides that, I think you're just chasing. Euro Swiss. So Euro Swiss, you asked me your idea on Euro Swiss, will it still go higher because my target is 0.94, entry was 0.924. Let's see. 9.4. Okay, you're looking for a pretty big move. Entry was 9.24. Okay, looking pretty good there. Really nice profit. So yeah, I said yesterday for Euro Swiss that I wasn't interested in any entries until price does sweep the low here, because you can see every time prices get to a low, we tend to stab through it and then recover quite violently. And because this market is quite bearish, I want to make sure that my entries is kind of as low as possible. So, you know, once price has that stab lower, that's when I'm taking my entry, not before the stab. Of course, in this case, we haven't had the stab here, so you're looking pretty good in that regard. But still, I would want my entry to be a little bit lower. But of course, we haven't had that. Price is pushing up. Do I still think price is going to push to 0.94? Well, I don't know. It's anyone's guess, really, to be honest. Again, when you're looking for big swings like that, even if you have the best trade in the world with the best confidences, if you're going to have like a far target, you can't be confident that price is going to get there. You have to have some type of management mechanisms in place to manage the trade, because the longer you're in the trade, the more uncertain it is, the more other information will be coming to the market and things can change. So whether pricing gets to 0.94 is anyone's guess, really, especially in a market as choppy as this. So yeah, I would say have some things to manage that, whether you're trading stops, taking partials along the way at certain levels. I'm sure you had your logic and reasoning in place to bet on that move initially, but I can't say if I'm expecting price to get there or not, because honestly, I have no idea if price will get there, to be honest. It might do, it might not do. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily bank on that. I would say have some things in place to manage the trade. I wouldn't say get out the trade, you know, still have your targets, but trail some stops, take some partials, you know, protect yourself along the way, because you've done well to achieve this swing. You don't want to just give that back just because you're looking for that point there, which the market doesn't have to get to at all. So, you know, protect that swing, not aggressively. You want to give it room, of course, balance, but yeah, I can't be certain on the push to 0.94. Okay, so Euro Swiss we'll have a look at next. No, not Euro Swiss. We just looked at Euro Swiss. I'll lose my marbles. We'll look at oil next, and then we'll go through. We'll go through. Okay, LFT. You look at BTC by around 102. Okay, we'll take a look at Bitcoin as well. I would say that 103 low failed on the daily, lower time. 103 low. Which pair are you talking about, Bashi? Died Mercy just entered into Swiss yen buys. Okay, cool. Taking some longs on the yen pairs despite the aggressive drop. I like it. I'm looking to buy the yen pairs as well, so I'm in the same boat as you. Okay, we can take a look at that. I think my favorite yen pair right now is probably dollar yen. So that's the one I'll be hoping to see if I can get an entry this week. Yep, USD, I completely forgot on G-Child. Apologies, we'll take a look at USD as well. Oh, BTC, okay, we'll take a look at Bitcoin too. Okay, call you DM, okay, apologies, no worries, we'll call you DM. Check out pound yen, it dipped into my area of interest. You're looking to buy Onye, I'm gonna call it Onye, is that, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. You're looking to buy pound yen or sell pound yen? What's your plan with pound yen? Anyway, we'll start with USD and then we'll take a look at BTC, just because USD was requested earlier. I forgot about it, so apologies. But yeah, guys, if I do forget about a pair someone request, just drop in the chat again. Yeah, I will forget sometimes, unfortunately. But yeah, in terms of USD looking really bullish, I would suggest if you're looking for pullbacks and longs, you're in the right place, to be honest. and in the right mindset too, because we've been so consistent with these higher highs and higher lows. We've come back to respect this demand zone. The structure's still holding. We've still got that high in place. And we had super corrective price action over here. That's finally broken out. So it looks like strength's re-entering the market. So now probability of price pushing back to that high, to me, looks pretty high. And yeah, we've got a couple really strong 4-hour closures above resistance here. So you can see this is where we were quite uncertain, quite choppy. Then we get 1, 2 candles really showing follow through that resistance. I would suggest now, if you can get a pullback, something like this, you're looking at a really nice buy opportunity back to resistance there. If you can find an entry here, some stops below, to really maximize your risk to reward. So yeah, USD, I think is actually a really good setup, because not only do you have that higher time frame backing, you start to see the lower time frame shift in that direction too. You know, basically the break of that resistance is price shifting back bullish again. So you're trading a trend on the higher time frames, but you've also got the support of the lower time frames now facing that direction too. So yeah, I think USD is actually quite a smart buy. Yeah, I'll look for some pullbacks for that one. In terms of Bitcoin, not looking too good. Really bearish, to be honest, for BTC. You can see we've had some downside over the past couple days. Well, today you got asterisks around it because it's still live. It could still pull back for whatever reason. But yesterday was pretty bearish. I was talking about a brief bounce yesterday because I said, you know, price is still respecting support really well. We can still bounce, but we had a very aggressive close underneath that. And price did recover slightly, but this morning said nope. And we absolutely obliterated that level. So with Bitcoin now, looks like it's attacking these lows. I said if we do see a daily candle closure below this, I would say Bitcoin's now bearish. Not bearish in terms of like long term, but bearish in terms of the daily market structure. We've created this high. We've now taken out these lows. We formed a low. Now we formed a lower high of that same move, and potentially we're about to form a lower low. That's bearish to me. So what that means is I'll be more focused with shorting BTC and just keeping a close eye on these support demand zones for more like profit taking and areas that maybe we might turn bullish from, especially the zone down here too. So yeah, with Bitcoin, I would be leaning bearish with ideas. So if I drop to the 4-hour chart, especially with this break, I would suggest something like this now. It looks like a really nice opportunity, taking advantage of momentum and still shorting with trend. Of course, in terms of the longer term play, do I expect this to continue forever? No. There are some areas which I quite like for the longs, especially this zone here. I think I might be asking a bit too much for BTC to get here, but if we can push to 88, 85k, that would be a really nice place to pick up some longs. These two zones could be interesting as well. We'll see how price reacts when we get to them as well. So that's around 101, 500 and also 97, 300. Those are the two zones I'll keep in mind from a bullish standpoint. But yeah, BTC to me is looking bearish. If we take up this low, which I'm kind of looking likely to, but we'll see how the daily candle does close, I would be looking at some shorts on the lower time frames. So yeah, I can't be looking to buy BTC just yet. Not with how we're looking. Okay, so yeah, we'll take a look at. Okay, so we'll go through oil, Swiss yen, Dow Jones as well. Samantha, no problem. We'll take a look at US 30 as well. GJ, we'll add that to the list. The US 10-year yield drops hard, then yen rally hard. Yeah, I mean, I don't really keep up to date with the 10-year yield, to be honest. Has it dropped? Not many cases where Japanese index rise with the yen also rising. No, I mean, they're normally, if the Japanese index is rising, normally the yen is weak. So the yen crosses will rise too. So the yen index rising is normally a good sign to start buying the yen crosses. How is the index doing? Just a quick look before I go through oil. Okay, down on the day. I suppose that's where the scare is coming from, to be honest. But yeah, still very, very bullish. Anyway, we'll start with oil. Now I'll go through the Dow Jones and some of the yen pairs too. So in terms of oil, we are looking quite bearish on the day. I wouldn't say it's anything crazy because it looks like we've just come back within the range that we've been in for the past 2 or 3 days. But in terms of the trend, in terms of the trajectory, everything is still pointing down. I'm still seeing consistent lower lows and lower highs here, and I would still be very bearish on this one. We held that key level on the daily chart very, very well, and that's kind of set the tone for me. So I'm looking at price continuing a lot lower now. But as I said last week, I wouldn't look to short unless 2 things happen. Unless we either push back to the highs here so we can get some stops and some entries in that location, or price has a really aggressive breakout of this range and we can start to look for some retest of that same range for some shorts. Because anything in there looks very indecisive. Price is not really sure what it wants to do. If we can see a strong break of this, yeah, the probability of us pushing to the lows increases a lot, so the shorts will make sense. And if you do break to the upside, I wouldn't say the probability of us pushing down increases, but at least we're back at key resistance where risk would actually make sense in terms of putting a stop loss above the highs, entries in that location, and looking for a push back down. You've got a good risk profile at that level. Here it's just kind of anyone's game, to be honest. So oil, depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for the more conservative idea, it would be waiting for the break. If you're looking for the more aggressive idea but better risk to reward, you're looking for a push back to highs and some shorts there. But I won't be bullish on oil until I see a convincing break back above this daily level. Break above that, we'll take out this high on the left here too, and that will make me rethink. But until that happens, I'm still pretty bearish here on oil. In terms of the Dow Jones, pretty similar analysis to what we did with the Nasdaq. We have a nice push up. We've had 2 areas to look at for a buy. It looks like the first area has failed. I talked about the gap there last weekend. I mean, the gap did provide a small bounce, but not a continuation. Now the next area I'm looking at is going to be this zone here. Nice push, price pull back, and now I'm looking at a continuation there. So what I'm looking for here is a strong rejection here on US30, around 47k we can call it. You can see here with the gap we had a slight bounce, but no real follow through. And now price is back at this zone. So I don't want to see price break underneath this. If price does break underneath that for the Dow Jones, it's not that I'm bearish, but I would have to be a bit more cautious. I mean, I'll keep an eye on this level here, but at that point we're having a really deep correction. Yeah, that's a pretty big correction here. Almost a counter trend move. Almost a counter bearish trend at that point. So yeah, for the most part, still very bullish for US30. Let's see what we can do around 46,900. In terms of entries, I would like price to kind of consolidate a little bit, find support, and then push. I don't want to try and catch the first dip into a big level, especially in this scenario where price has been super bearish into the zone. I like it when price gets there, maybe consolidates for a few candles, and then momentum kicks in. It kind of bides its time a little bit. So yeah, that's the direction I'm pointing up. The Dow Jones, S&P, Nasdaq, pretty much the same analysis. We can have a quick look at the S&P whilst we're at it. But as you can see here as well, there's your zone. The gap didn't really do too much damage yesterday or last week even. A slight bounce here and there, but we have broken through that. So we'll see if this can hold. But yeah, overall still pointing really long. There could be some like short-term intraday shorts for the indices, especially if you like a 5-minute chart. You might find some nice selling opportunities because that's where momentum is currently at the moment. But yeah, if you're looking for a swing, if you're looking to follow the trend, stick with the buys. Okay, so we'll go through Swiss yen and pound yen next. Okay, you're already in a buy. Nice. Congrats, G-Child. Looking to trade it to the daily high. It's looking pretty good, I can't lie. It looks like USD has definitely picked up momentum. And yeah, I would say just keep an eye on the trade, manage it how you would normally look to manage it. But it's looking pretty bullish to me. Bash, I think BT buys in the daily are for the people who think we are going into risk on market. Yeah, I'm not sold on that, to be honest. I'm not sold on that. And again, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's just that's what I'm leaning towards. Are you bullish on the daily, Bashi, for BTC? Yes, we can take a look at dollar CAD as well. I think there's a sell opportunity. I'm not really interested in selling USD at the moment, so I'll pass upon that. I understand that dollar CAD's at resistance, so there might be a bit of a reaction down, but USD is just looking too scary for me to sell at this moment in time. But yeah, we can take a look at that. First, we'll go through some of the yen pairs. So Swiss yen, can't remember who, someone mentioned they've got a long position on the Swiss DM, long position on the Swiss. Let's see what you're looking at. I mean, first of all, we have pulled back into a nice zone, which is this area here, the demand zone that gave us that rally. Your entry was 189,980. Was that 189,980? That's around there. Your stop loss 189,650. Okay, not much room for error here. Right underneath that low, and take profit 193. Back at the highs here. Okay, so you're looking for a very, very nice risk reward on that move. That's probably like a 1 to 10 maybe, close to that anyway. So yeah, risk reward looking phenomenal. Location, I like it. Risk, I'm not too sure about that. The stop loss placement seems a little bit tight for me. Again, stop loss is always subjective, you know. There is no right or wrong place to put a stop loss. There's just conservative and aggressive, really, because, you know, you could have a really aggressive stop loss, the trade could play out, you really maximize risk to reward, but of course, your margin for error is very, very slim. You could have a really wide stop loss, you know, it gives you a lot more fluctuation, your win rate probably improve, but your risk reward is going to take a hit, of course. So there's no right or wrong. If I was taking this trade, I'd probably try and put a stop underneath the lows here, to give myself the room for that turnaround, especially when momentum has been super, super aggressive here. It's not like it's been like a slow, grindy pullback. We've actually picked up some serious momentum here. So I'm in the same camp as you for the direction. It's just the stop, the entry and the stop, I think is just a slight bit aggressive for my liking. In terms of targets, I think it actually makes sense, to be honest. It's quite a big target, but it actually does make sense because you're taking advantage of the current nature of the market, which is super, super bullish. So if we do generally form a higher low, the odds of us getting back to the high and seeing new highs is actually very high. So yeah, in this scenario, I actually don't mind that target. It makes sense. But yeah, I would like a bit more room in the SL, in my preference. But yeah, direction, I'm with you. I mean, I am looking to buy the yen pairs. Swiss yen is one of them I'm keeping an eye on, but dollar yen is the guy I'm focusing on the most. And funny enough, dollar yen's one of the yen pairs which hasn't really taken that much of a hit with the yen. Of course, that's because USD is kind of holding up its end of the bargain, but really exaggerated push, sideways move. I like it. Push down, maybe start to descend a little bit. Now see if I can pick up some longs, hopefully probably Wednesday, Thursday, and then target is back to the prior high. If we're lucky, new highs. So dollar yen's the yen pair I'm trying to see if I can get involved with. We'll go take a look at GJ next, because GJ is also an interesting one. We'll go through dollar CAD as well. Okay, yeah, you're trading the 15. Yeah, I mean the same situation applies, to be honest. It doesn't really matter the time frame. DM is the same kind of risk element whether you look in the daily or the 15. Actually, technicals, yes, but BTC is risk on assets, so not yet. Fair enough, but technically, sure, can take a stab from 103k. If that doesn't work, then 197. Okay, I don't trade it because I trade my full user, of course. Yeah, I mean BTC, I'm not feeling on the daily just yet. I understand, of course, the long-term play is up. Of course, whether the current environment makes sense to be long in or not, I don't think so either. And I don't like the way price is breaking through lows, putting in lower highs, and pushing down again as well. So I'm not quite convinced just yet. I think if I scale to like a weekly, how's the weekly looking? Don't like the weekly either, especially with the range. See how this week closes. If this week closes really aggressive, outside this range low, that's not looking good either. So yeah, with BTC, I like the buys, but I would wait later down the line before taking some entries personally. At the moment, I think a bit more downside. Malik, I hope I'm saying that correctly. What if all yen pairs are on the move to cover their gaps? Well, what if they are? What if they're not? What if they're not, Malik? Again, with trading, there's so many what ifs. You'll be here till the end of time if you're going to ask yourself what ifs. You just have to focus on the facts you have and on where your probabilities do lie. So price may generally be looking to go fill their gaps. It might not be. At the end of the day, if you ask yourself too many of those, you would never take a trade, because every question you ask, you don't have certainty until it actually does happen. So you have to take educated guesses, which is pretty much what trading is. Educated guesses on what the market is likely to do next, based on prior history, and develop an edge from that. So yeah, price journey could be looking to fill the gaps, maybe. For dollar yen's case, I'm looking to buy on the retest of this zone. Where are we now? This zone here. If this zone doesn't hold, then I'll back away. Maybe price is still going to go and fill the gap here. But to be honest, that's not really any of my concern right now. Price is way too far away for me to be thinking about this gap fill. Pound yen's case, a little bit different, because that's kind of just underneath us. We do have the gap fill here, which price generally could be looking to go and fill as well. And that could be a smart place to buy. If you have a strategy around gaps, that could be something you're looking to play. I don't have a strategy around gaps, so I'm not looking to do anything special there. If I did have one, I'll let you guys know, but I don't have a strategy around gaps. I'm always looking for support and resistance or supply and demand. So I'm looking to see if we can hold this low here, and I'm looking for this to reverse. If we do break through aggressively and come into the gap, we'll see what price does. The key thing I'm interested in is this low here, because this is the low after the high, which gave us the new high. So technically speaking, this is our swing low. We don't want price to break through that, because if it does, that will illustrate a break of structure, and the likelihood of us heading bearish has increased a lot if we were to do that. So yeah, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll find out. Like I said, my interest, at least for GJ here, is to see if we can respect this swing low. At the moment, we've had a really bearish close. The last 4 hour candles, have to be careful. I need to see rejection here, and then I'm looking for us to turn around. Maybe a bit of consolidation and the strong close back inside the range. That's what I'm looking for, an entry. And I have to be careful with pound as well, because pound's looking really weak too. So I don't want to jump in the way of that. But yeah, it's a good point. But again, with trading, we've got to focus on process, not so much on guesswork here. Probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. Okay, so I will go through dollar CAD next. And yeah, basically for pound yen, I'm just looking for a recovery of this low for a long. So I want to see price hold on to that support level, reject it, give me a strong close, and then I'll look for some buys at that low. So that's what I'm looking for pound yen. Dollar CAD, I will talk about the shorts on that one. M50, M30 shorts for sure. BTC low time break. Yeah, I agree. It's looking really bearish, so I wouldn't be looking to take any buys for BTC now, especially in the short term. Of course, maybe if you come a bit deeper, then things can get a bit more interesting, but I would wait for that. In terms of USD CAD, so I understand that we're back at resistance and we could be looking for a bit of a move down. I do think because of dollar strength, if you are looking to short this, I'll keep it short and sweet. I wouldn't be looking for like a big turnaround because it does look like DXY is about to break higher. If we take a look at the DXY, you know, this looks like it's about to start to move. Euro has been really weak as well. This looks like it's still got room to the downside to fall. Pound USD has already been falling as well. That's looking super bearish. New Zealand dollar, that's been falling as well. That's looked super bearish too. So you have pretty much USD against even dollar CHF. If we could look at that one. So you pretty much have USD against any major currency, and USD is the stronger one. So if you're going into dollar CAD looking to short it because price has reached a big level, makes sense. But equally, you don't want to be holding that trade for too long because the current environment is favoring USD. I know things change, but you don't want to bank on the change happening because that's more kind of like luck, if you will. The here and now favors more upside for the for dollar CAD. So in my eyes, I'm not looking to really short USD CAD right now. I'm kind of seeing if you can break through and then look for some type of pullback shortly afterwards. That will be something I'll be interested in. Maybe a retest of the high, depends how big the breakout is. But that's something that I would be interested in because that way I'm kind of in line with the trend, in line with momentum. I got USD strength on my side rather than against it. So yeah, in terms of dollar CAD, super bullish. Basically any USD pair, I'm bullish on the USD on. GJ in the 5 minute. Okay, we can look at the 5 minute. I think Bashi's looking at GJ in the 5 minute as well. So GJ 5 minute. So yeah, I'll be careful with GJ in the 5 minute because we're at a very reactive area. We're coming to the prior week's low here. So that's always a place where price could potentially look to bounce. There we go. You can see there's a price where it's a price where price does look to try and bounce quite a lot. And you do have this zone here where you can see some downside, but if price does react, you have to be careful here. Because if price does start to react there, you can definitely follow through that. And if price does, you're looking at a big breakout. So I do think in terms of pound yen opportunities, looking to even try and long actually against support actually makes sense here. And try and trade it to the upside. I know it's counter trade, I know you're going against momentum, but this is a pretty strong level of support. And if it does hold with, let's say, a strong bullish engulfing candle, you got yourself a decent trade with decent risk as well. Your stop loss just has to go below the level. And then a target here, we'll see what happens. Maybe you break through, maybe we do continue. But I think that's a great area to actually position yourself on the 5 minute. If we do break through the zone completely, then yeah, fair enough. And then yeah, we could actually see price continue a lot lower and probably even, you know, go fill the gap on the 4 hour daily chart as well. But that's something we'll probably speak about on a more higher time frame. So from a 5-minute perspective, I would say just keep an eye on that low there, because that's going to cause a lot of noise. And if we do start to hold and support, I think we can push up. And it's that momentum is still pretty bearish, but I would look for a bigger pullback before shorting. I don't want to be shorting into that low. GJ wanted to, okay, you wanted to buy GJ. It was after 10:15, so I didn't want, okay, fair enough. Just, okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at buys as well. I mean, that's on the 4-hour chart. So it's a different ball game. But if you have your windows, you have your timings in place, you want to be strict with that as well. And yeah, especially with pound being super weak pretty much against all currencies, that's making me a little bit apprehensive buying pound yen. I know I've got yen on my side, but pound's not really on my side. Okay, wait for New York or tomorrow, fair enough. Once there's some sales open, then at 10 a.m. buys. Oh, okay. So you switch the bias around. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to switch bias pretty fast on the lower time frames. Things happen pretty quickly. The thing about the higher time frames, which I like, is that everything's a little bit slower. So I'm slow to change my bias, or slower to change my bias, slower to find entries, slower to exit, which mentally I do prefer. But then again, yeah, intraday you're going to be fast, in the trade quicker, probably out the trade quicker too. I think it's just strokes for different folks, really. Do you think pound yen is a buy? I think we're in a bullish area for a long. I wouldn't say it's a buy because we don't have the price action to support the entry. I need to see some rejection at that level before I'd buy. But yes, we're trading at support, which if it does hold, I would like to buy pound yen from that zone. But of course, we have actually just closed slightly below it there. And let's say if the next candle does this as well, well then yeah, I wouldn't be looking at buy. So it's only a buy if it does reject well. If not, you're just trying to catch the low. Yeah, I would guess you would switch bias pretty often. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I suppose that's the tricky. I mean, you're gonna catch every move. Your job is just to catch the better ones, and even of course some of the better ones might not shape up as you would like them. As long as you're not chasing price, I think you're in a good place. Yeah. I think I don't know. Just the M1 time frame is just a bit too rapid for me. I like a little bit of time to think. Okay, so I will go through my watch list because, of course, with that move, we've had things haven't really changed, but I'll go over the zones I'm looking to buy from and kind of the invalidation points as well. If price breaks that level, I'll switch my bias around. But I said the top 3 markets which I did like for the upcoming days were pound Aussie to the downside, pound yen to the upside, and also dollar yen to the upside. Euro USD as well. But of course, Euro's case, that's just kept falling, so the opportunity hasn't really formed yet. We still need to be patient for a pullback, and that potentially could come actually next week. In terms of Pound yen, well, pound yen's at the level, so keeping very much my eyes peeled on that market for now, because that could develop an entry at any point. To be honest, it's even pulling back at the moment right now. Slightly trading above the low. I mean, it's way too early, and to be honest, I would like to see us kind of shake out this momentum, because let's say if we do close slightly bullish, that doesn't really mean anything compared to this gigantic bearish candle. So I'd actually like us to kind of flush a little bit more to the downside, maybe give us a big wick, just to show that that momentum is dying, and then the buys a step back in. That would be a nice entry candle. And then of course dollar yen, I'm looking at longs on the retest of that zone. We're not quite there yet. Still need a bit more downside before a buy. Maybe that could set up tomorrow. And then GA, I like the shorts in this one too. But this one again, still pretty far away from any type of entry. So yeah, just GJ and UJ, both the yen pairs. Can't go past the 15. Yeah, join the club. That's same for me as well. I wouldn't go lower than the 15 either. Okay, lots of validation rules. Yeah, I think with the lower time frames, because you just got so much opportunity, so much movement, it's very easy to get lost and just take trades which aren't worth taking really. So I think just being super strict with whatever trades you take and the rules you have for them is so important. Because I feel like with like the 1 minute or anything of that nature, any error you do is kind of like 10x errors that you do on like a daily chart or like a 4-hour chart. Because if you make a mistake on a 4-hour chart, you got 4-hour candles until the next candle closes. A 1 minute chart, I mean 60 seconds can be a lot of time, but it isn't when price is moving. So you always got to be super careful in those time frames and be super strict as well. Yeah, 30-second time frame. Yeah, that's a bit. That's a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be looking at the second time frame. The thing is, I only heard about the second time frame like a few years ago. Like I didn't know retail traders traded the second time frame. But you learn something new. Yes, we could take a look at BTC as well. No problem. Appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. All of that does really help out. And of course, do share it with your friends. Of course, any chart recommendations, pairs you're trading, drop it in the chat. Anything you're interested, we shall have a look. See, Raymond, thinking Aussie CAD short. I'm not a big fan of Aussie CAD short just because of the range we're in. It's really noisy. I know roughly the idea you're looking at, because Aussie CAD has picked up some nice bearish momentum. I think Aussie's seen some weakness, but it's just yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. We'll take a look at it though. Down to the 15-second. Okay, anything less than the broker can't give a clear feed. Yeah, I mean, even 15-second, I bet it's probably not the clearest. Damn, fair play. The thing is, even with the lower you go, the more you have to be super aware of spreads and how much that costs your positions, because you know, if you have like a three pip spread, but you're trading on like a 4-hour chart and your stop loss is like 50 pips, well, 3 pips is not much to 50 pips, so you're not too worried. But if you're on like as you say, a 15-second time frame, I'd imagine your stop loss is like could actually be 3 pips. So that's when spread's actually a real issue. So you want to be trading on the most liquid pairs and when volume's high. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so yeah, we'll go through BTC. So yeah, as I mentioned with Bitcoin, we have had a bearish couple of days, and I want to see how we close today before I kind of make a judgment on the daily chart, because we've had a bit of a drop and we are looking to attack this low around 103,500, and I want to see if we close below that or not. We've pulled back a bit here, but if we were to break through that low there, I would say daily chart is now looking bearish, and I would expect more downside. Of course, the bigger swing, the long-term move for BTC is still very much up, but maybe in the short term, the next week or so, we could still see more downside there. So I want to be very, very aware of that. And especially this zone that we left behind with this breakout. So that's why I want to see how this daily candle closes, because if it closes well, this becomes a zone where I think shorts look good for more downside. If it pulls back, leaves a big wick, well, we could actually rally here, because essentially that means this support level here has held. So if this pulls back and let's say flips bullish, well, support's still at play. So it's quite crucial to see how this daily candle closes, and I think that will set the tone for the rest of the week. But yeah, I would, I'll be careful with buying BTC. I think buys still make sense. We are coming to support, but I just wouldn't be looking for like the home run. I will be keeping it short and sweet. You can always leave small positions to run, because you never know if Bitcoin, maybe we do turn around and start to rally. But again, price is not looking very bullish right now. Not even just the past couple of weeks of price action. Yeah, I mean you're crazy to be trading the second time frame. So yeah, you are sick bashy. I can definitely agree with that. Going to release or not? Good question. Let me have a look. We'll go Forex Factory. They're pretty good with saying if it's going to be released or not. Actually, let me take a look at my FX book as well. Okay, so Jolt's 3 o'clock. That's 3 o'clock UTC. Can't tell. Okay, so news is coming. No, we won't get it given the BLS and the shutdown show my foot, but not in Forex Factory. It's going to be released. Where are you getting that information, Bashi? Because yeah, I can see it on my FX book as well. Jolts at 3 o'clock, but Forex Factory do not have that. So let me have a look at FX Street. It says NA on FX Street, so I'm not too sure. Maybe it won't be in that case. Oh, okay, BLS release jolts and then shut down. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it looks like that because with FX Street it says NA as well. So that's normally a sign it's not going to be released. FX JC, you got a sell limit on pound Swiss. Okay, we can have a look at that as well. But a drop from 1.06250. Yeah, I think that's just the pound weakness coming into the market there. I mean, I'm pretty bearish on pound Swiss as well, so I'll be looking at shorting that one. But yeah, I think the pound weakness just sent that one. I think CHF might be gaining a bit of strength as well, but pound's been weak for the past maybe 2 or 3 weeks now. So you said you had a limit at 106,400. Oh, so yeah, just missed it. 16 pips, unfortunate. Again, I mean that's one of because one of the benefits of using the limit orders is that you probably get better entries because you can set your order at certain prices and you have control of where you're going to get filled. When you're using market execution, of course you're relying on using maybe candlestick patterns or other methods to get into the market, but the market's going to kind of dictate that a bit more. So you might be in a situation where you have bigger stop losses. But of course, the drawbacks is that sometimes you will be in this scenario where price misses your limits by a close distance. But like I said, with pretty much all techniques of trading, there'll be pros, advantages of using it. There'll be cons as well. But yeah, I think right idea though. Looking for the short. Momentum's down. I think it's a smart place for an entry. Yeah, appreciate that, Bashi. That's quite helpful. Chad, what's up? Hope you're well. Time to buy the JPY pairs. I'm still looking to buy them. I'm not buying them just yet. GJ, I need some rejection at that low. It's definitely on the watch list, but yeah, with that bearish candle we had this morning here, I'm going to need to see a pretty violent rejection to support me getting into a long position. Because I like where we're trading at this low. That's exactly what I said at the start of the week. I said if price can get to the support level, this is what I'm looking to buy. So now that we're here, now it's time just to see a good rejection to support that. And of course, because we've had such an aggressive move into the level, of course price could break through. There's no guarantee it holds, but now it's time to see if we can get that rejection. Dollar yen, I like the buys as well. That's come into a nice area. I mean, almost into a nice area. Still a few pips away, but I like that zone. This is our last pullback. Broke the highs, really aggressive move. We've now come back to retest that same zone, which we broke out last week. So again, if we can hold this, I think this is a great place to plot some longs. And hopefully look for a continuation back to the highs at the very least, with the expectation that we could go a lot further as well. So those are the two yen pairs which I'm liking the buys. I think Euro yen looks remotely good as well. Not as good as those two, which is why my focus is there. Euro is breaking some 4-hour structure. I wouldn't say this is significant in terms of, okay, now I'm bearish. I would say this is a much more significant low. But we are breaking some structure here. So it looks like the Euro yen's case, we're coming back to this zone for a buy. Swiss yen, we've already done that as well. So being a little bit more careful on these, we've still got this low in place. So again, that's the opportunity there. And then New Zealand yen doesn't look good. Aussie yen, not a big fan of. CAD, okay, but there's better pairs to trade. Yeah, I mean, in terms of strength and weakness, euro would be better trade than pound. You're right, because if you look at euro pound, you know, you got a pretty clear uptrend at play. The past 2-3 weeks, we've been trending pretty well. Actually, past week we trending well. The past 2-3 weeks, we've actually been fairly sideways. But we've picked up momentum recently. So yeah, euro, you're right. In terms of strength, euro would be the better buy. I like the technicals more on pound yen and the support we're coming into, but in terms of euro being stronger, you might get a better bounce in that one. So that's a good point, Bashi. Haven't given the hope on GJ yet. Join the team. I haven't given hope either. Cut your stop loss. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it was just more so because price was going in my favor, so I didn't want to give back everything, to be honest, and take a full loss, especially in a position that's already swung much in my favor and took out prior highs as well. So that's the reason why I did limit risk. But then, of course, the pound weakness stepped in. I think it was from inflation a couple of weeks back, and we just haven't looked bullish since then. But I'm still looking for that big swing on GJ. It's just have to be patient. What's up, Francis? Good morning, my man. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Okay, alerts on euro pounds. Up alerts. In here, I was like, oh, do you trade euro pounds? Or do you just set alerts just to monitor the strength of euro and pound? Yes, Chad, we can take a look at gold as well, no problem. Not at the moment, Francis, to be honest. I'm just stalking pound yen and stalking dollar yen at the moment. That's where the conversation has been around. But pound's looking really weak right now, so I'm just being very cautious about jumping into any trades. Not really seeing the rejection I need yet to support an entry. And then dollar yen's not quite at the zone yet, so I'm still waiting for this to come in a little bit lower. I'm still very bullish in USD, so a lot of USD pairs I'm looking to buy the dollar against the opposing currency. So short euro, short pound, short Aussie dollar is very much the play. But yeah, the USD pairs haven't pulled back enough for me to be interested in opportunities there. So for now, just GJ and UJ. Let's take a look at gold. Oh, okay, just to monitor, fair enough. Yeah, you trade 4 pairs. We need to... Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, because then you can make sure that your strength and weakness is on your side. Yeah, I think UJ is good because you got USD potential continuation of its strength, and if the yen is still going to keep up its weakness long term, then you've potentially got one of the strongest currencies against the weaker ones. Not really in play at the moment, but the potential is there. So I think dollar yen longs is a good bet on paper anyway. We'll see if the price action will support that. Okay, so let me take a look at gold. I'm on gold already. So yeah, gold, I'm only looking for some short-term plays because I think we're still in a very indecisive situation right now, because we've got the long-term play, the long-term trend, which is still very, very bullish, which I still want to see if I can find opportunities to get back in and ride that. But equally so, we've just formed this double top here. We've taken out some lows, really aggressive move down, formed a new lower low, new lower high, new lower low. So the market on the 4 hour is bearish by market structure. We've taken out lows here too. So because of that, I do like shorts. I do like to, trade what's in front of me rather than what I hope the market's going to do. So I do like shorts at the highs here. If we can push back to resistance, maybe wick into that resistance, reject it well. I think in a short term, that's a really smart place for a trade. You don't have to be looking for a push to these lows. I mean, that would be like, best case scenario if you can see a swing down there. But I think this is a good place for entries, for stops, and especially looking at this counter trend line, I think that's a good place to book some profits as well, or even just look to get out completely if you're looking just for a very short-term play. But I like that location there, just above 4K, so 40, 50 we call it. A swing to the highest rejection, I think it's a smart play, and you're still taking advantage of this current trend here. So that's really what I'm looking to play with gold. If gold does for some reason break out and start to take out highs here, that's when I'll start to shift bullish again. And at that point, yeah, we can discuss a push back to highs. But we still got a long way before that happens. So I'm not really going to dive deep into that until I do see that break of structure. So for now, just focusing on the shorts. Yeah, the M pairs have been dropping lower. Yeah, I think so, Bashi. I think so. I think there's opportunity on dollar yen because it's one of the yen pairs which hasn't got moving yet. If you look at Swiss yen, Euro yen, even pound yen, those yen pairs have seen some big moves recently. So they might have used up some of their juice. Dollar yen has been quite sluggish, but hasn't really seen a big move. And then potentially you got USD gaining some strength after the interest rates last week, and then you got yen still looking pretty weak right now. I think there's opportunity there, as long as there can be good technical setups to support that. Dollar yen could be the next kind of big mover for the yen pairs over the next couple of weeks. What I think of euro pound, we can take a look at that one. Not really a pair I'm focused on at the moment, but we can take a look. Okay, stopped out Swiss yen. Unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. Neither trade's gonna be a winner. Yeah, I mean, I still think you're in the right idea with Swiss yen in terms of looking for buys. It's just I'll try and give myself a bit more room on the stop loss. And there's nothing wrong with using the 15. It's just, yeah, I want the 15 to be a lot more bullish before I do take that buy. But I'll still be bullish as long as we don't take out. As long as we don't take out this low. As long as we don't take out that low, I'll be bullish. So I'll say from like a 15 perspective, because we've had this really aggressive drop here. Looking to try and buy on the 15 is just going to be super, super aggressive because essentially you're calling the lows here. So I want the 15 to start to trend higher, and then I can try and buy these dips here because then I can... Now, I wouldn't mind having a tight stop loss because I've got this to support that. And then I can trade it back to highs here, and if I'm feeling really confident, I can look for 193. But looking to try and pick a low here with a very tight stop loss, the odds of you doing that are very, very slim. So I would wait for the 15 to shift and then look for similar entries. Okay, so we shall take a look at euro pound. So yeah, euro pound, of course, recently had a bit of a breakout. Momentum is still looking fairly bullish. Especially this morning here, pretty strong push. Yeah, I'm not quite convinced. As I said yesterday, I'm not convinced with euro pound. It just doesn't trend well, so I'm always very skeptical when it does have its breakouts because on average, the breakouts don't perform well. We might see a breakout, but we tend to come straight back down. So if we can create a higher high, that's when I'll be convinced with the trend. So if price can go and create a new high here, then fair enough, maybe this is a genuine breakout, and then I would be happy for break and retest there and looking to follow that move. My instinct and what I'd expect for euro pound is for us to kind of roll back over and come back down here. And then there could actually be some really nice shorts on the retest of that high. Because now that, of course, that'll be resistance again. Great place for an entry, stops above. Maybe a push back into the lows there. So euro pound, yes, it is very bullish and generally could be looking to go higher, but I wouldn't take any buys until I do see something like that happen. And then yeah, I do favor more upside. If not, we could be coming straight back down. Yeah, we'll see what happens with GBP on Thursday. Yeah, it's not looking good for pound, which is going to rely on the yen being super, super weak if pound yen's going to push. Which I do think we will see a very weak yen, but we'll see if it's weaker than the pound. Yeah, happy to help DM. Of course, all part of the game. How is the USD pairs doing? Ooh, okay, so Euro's picking up some momentum now. So yeah, it looks like USD is quite strong here. DXY. Yeah, DXY just picked up some strength. How are we looking relative to the daily level? Not too far away. So yeah, I did say this week it would be nice to get a bit of retracement here for the DXY back into this zone for a buy, but it's looking less and less likely that we'll see that retest as price picks up some momentum here. So yeah, it's going to be a situation where maybe this week we push and then maybe next week we get some retracement. I mean, it's only Tuesday, so we'll not get too carried away, but we are quite some distance from that zone. I mean, yeah, intraday yen is definitely getting stronger, but I'm looking at the bigger picture because, again, I derive my bias using the daily chart. So a bullish candle in the day, doesn't really do much in terms of the context of the trend. One candle is just one candle. So if we look at the yen basket here, which is the yen against the major currency pairs, this is what we're seeing right now. That doesn't really do anything in terms of this. So that's why I'm not really changing my bias. Yes, of course, intraday we're probably stacking some higher highs and higher lows. And this could mean more upside for the next few days. But until we kind of see some really meaningful moves, taking out highs like this, then yeah, a daily standpoint, that will make me shift. So it is perspective what you're looking for. But yeah, definitely we're seeing some strength from the yen. But that daily candle needs to do a lot more for me to kind of back away or switch my bias around. Look at the 102.50 high. Is that the same high I was looking at? Yeah. Yeah, we're not too far away from that. Yeah, very close. If it takes the high. Yeah, potentially if it does take the high, we could naturally retrace after that. That could invite some USD weakness, which could help gold and silver maybe rally. Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of gold and silver, because they've been so fundamentally driven, what dollar has been doing hasn't been the biggest driver of gold and silver recently. So I think we do need some fundamentals to help gold and silver start to be bullish again. But yeah, USD weakness in USD will definitely help. Yeah. The yen could be stronger for a few days. There has been a strong push. Prefer no NFP, we keep the chat. I mean, the thing is, with no NFP, the less uncertainty comes into the market, so you can focus on the price action a bit more. Because when you do get big news events like NFP, Fed interest rate, you know, you get a lot of people who are going to be focusing on those events specifically, and they'll be reacting to those events, and then you know, that itself would, you know, change things or continue things in the market. Everything going up to the news, you're kind of focusing on what price is doing, and then you get the news coming in. See if the news is going to support what price is doing or completely change it, and then that could start a new trend or a new direction for the market. So the fact that you had to skip NFP makes you kind of just focus on the price action. Don't worry too much about noise coming into the market, because you don't need necessarily NFP to you know, cause a crazy 100% move for you to make a profit. The market moves more than enough. I appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, do drop a like, subscribe. That does really help out. Hit the bell, of course, and share it with your friends. It does really help out. Yeah, I agree. Especially if you're intraday trading, you're going to like it more too, because intraday, I feel like NFP, all the big news events are like your nemesis, to be honest. So yeah, focusing on avoiding NFP, and if the government shut down, you don't have to do anything. Just, you know, let them worry about the shutdown. You just keep trading. So yeah, I do definitely, and even from a 4-hour perspective as well, less noise as well, because that will affect my trades too. Anyway, guys, we have approached the end of the stream. I do really appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. I will be live again tomorrow. Sorry if there was a bit of noise earlier. I had some people around, so hopefully it wasn't too noisy. But yeah, guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. Have a great evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Of course, I will be live again tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. But besides from that, have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Six AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.